Okay, we should be live. Let me know if you can hear me. I got a new microphone, that's why I look like a tech support. But it'll just be easier for me to walk around and still speak. So let me know if you can hear me and we'll just get started. Happy 4th of July if you live in US should still be a big deal. Okay, hopefully you guys have a good plan today despite all the pandemic and craziness around here. Hope you can still do some barbecue and stuff, with your own family and stuff. Okay, anyways, so we'll just get started. Some of us have planned, and I don't really have a plan today, but I still just want to take my kids out for a bike ride. So this should happen last night, but my wife wasn't feeling so well, so I'm covering for her to tuck the kids in and stuff. So okay, so let's just get started. First, let me turn off my camera. So I recently got a commission work to paint DC, and she's awesome. She's been asking me to paint scenery for her for 2 to 3 sceneries already. So I asked her where she want what part of the DC she want to paint, and she said anywhere is fine, just as long as we got some some monuments and stuff, some landmark. So I thought to myself, well, state capital seems good. So I've been searching around online, things is like that, and they want a she wants a street scenery. She also wanted rain. So there's some criteria there. And I am not visiting DC anytime soon. So Google Map is my best friend right now in terms of getting some reference. Now I can go on YouTube and search Washington DC. Here I'm searching for DC street and stuff. There are some interesting things here and there. This is a nice scenery too, but it's not going to work for what I want to do. So it is good to search some individual elements such as the state capitol building itself, and maybe some cars and stuff, people painting on the street. There's protests and stuff there right now. But if you want to kind of go there virtually in person, Google Street is a very good tool. So I just search United States Capitol, and that's the Capitol building. Now you can kind of rotate around if you hold down Control and you just kind of left click and drag. You can kind of circling around, and if you drop this little guy here in the Pennsylvania Avenue where I want to, whoops, that's inside the building. So let me click here. It will go out on the street. Okay, so you can actually be here without actually being here, if you know what I mean. Okay, the US Capitol. So now that I am on the Pennsylvania Avenue, so the string will probably be about an hour or so. I'm not quite sure yet. Okay, so I was looking around the street here. I actually been doing this for quite a while already. So I was just going into that street, just pretend that I'm actually driving there. Okay, looking for a good place to paint. I like this building a lot. So like I seem to believe it's Marriott or something. Oh, it's actually a Trump. It's a Trump hotel. So, anyways, so I was painting. I was going around, and then so I like the shape of this building, but I also like we also want the Capitol building here. So first thing that I want to do is to find a place, like if I'm physically there, where would I stand and paint? So I think this is again, like I want to include this building, but see if I'm on this side of the street, the tree is going to block most of the building. So if I go on left here, so somewhere around here, if I'm standing here, then I'm able to look at the building and such. So I move a little bit here. That seemed like a very good shot. So one of the features that the Google Street View has is if you click on this clock here, you can actually scroll back in time. So this is 2019, last year. Go back 2018, 2014. And this actually kind of cloudy day is actually what I want, because she wanted a rainy scenery. For some reason, she wanted me to paint a rainy scenery, which is fine. I like painting rainy street. But if it's like a sunny day, I can still turn this into a rainy street scenery, but it'll be better if I find like an overcast day, something like these, where there's no direct light from the sun. So it's mostly just overcast. So this gives me a good reference. So one thing that we need to watch out for when we are using this is that the Google Street, because they're using a 360 camera taking photo like this, every meter or so, that makes it become, the lens is very, very wide. So let's say if I want to paint something here, okay, the lens is way too wide. So usually what I do is I back up a little bit, find a good position here. So let's say somewhere here, okay, and I actually have to zoom in quite a bit to make things look a little bit more natural, because even like this, see, I include the building and everything looks very distorted because it's a very wide angle lens. You can actually go as wide as, oops, a little bit too wide. You can actually go as wide as like these, okay? That looks very unnatural. That looks like a fisheye lens. So, which is fine if that's something you want to do, but even this car, it looks like it's really long. So if you zoom it in a little bit on the Google Street Scene, this looks a lot more natural. So what I need to do is to back up maybe all the way here, and now I will move here a little bit, try to find different angles and stuff. This is completely free, so just do it all you want. And then you're here now. This looks pretty good, and again we can go through the time and look at a good time for us to paint. It's almost like a picking the weather, which is great. So I think I already captured a screenshot, so I'm just giving you an example. So this is what you can do, okay? So after that, I actually zoom it out a little bit and I took a screenshot like these, okay, and I throw into Photoshop here. So this is the original photo, the original screenshot. So let me just go back to all the way to the beginning. This is not a Photoshop tutorial, so I'm not gonna go into the features of Photoshop much, but so the original screenshot is like these. I crop, I snip it into a screenshot like that, but I crop it because this is the format that she wants. She wants the 1:2. So what you can do is, if you using snipping tool, so just press Window key and type in snipping. It's called snipping tool, and you can just click on new, and then you can just grab anywhere in the screen and you can take a screenshot like these. Okay, and you can save it, you can just copy it and paste into other software, depends on what you want. So again, I took it already, and then I and I put it in the Photoshop, and then I start to look for the composition that I want. So obviously I want this building in, this hotel in, so I crop that into the dimension, the ratio that I want, which is, again, this is 1, this is 2, so it's going to be a 10 by 20 painting. Okay, so this is the original shot, okay, just to be clear. But there's a couple problems. The US Capitol building is really, really small, and the perspective is not exactly where we want it to be, because if I'm standing here on the street, obviously I'm gonna get crashed by this red car. So I'm imagining maybe I'm here in the sidewalk. Now some of this I can solve it in the drawing, but I actually want to have this building closer in, actually, just to close in a little bit, otherwise it's going to be cropped out here. So I take a layer and then I kind of cut this out from this area. Okay, again, this is not a Photoshop tutorial, so I am not gonna go into how to use Photoshop here. But again, see, I just moved that guy in. So now we have this in the composition, and I also use kind of rule of third grid when I'm doing that. Okay, so, and then I grab the Capitol building from another photo somewhere else, and I just put that in. I snuck that in and I make it bigger. Now might not be exactly correct in terms of that, but it's going to make a better composition to me. So it's not going to be super tiny back there, because if I just do that, I might as well just lose it. If I do want to include it somehow at the end of the street here, I need to make it a little bit bigger. So the painting is going to look more or less something like these. Now I'm going to do a drawing and a value study just to solve this composition and see how can I turn it into a painting, and especially a rainy street scenery. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add a car here that's a little bit bigger, and at the same time I'll probably need to change the perspective here as well, because again, if I stand here, it doesn't make any sense. So I'll probably need to make the curb going this way instead of all the way into the street here. So hopefully I'm just sharing with you my approach when it comes to doing this, because again, I'm not able to be there personally. If you can be there physically, I think it's still better to go there physically and take a photo, like even just with your phone and stuff. And I can talk about taking reference photo from your phone, but if you can be there physically, great. But at the same time, same concept applies. Don't just go there and take a photo and leave and expect you get one good photo you can paint from. If you can be there and do plein air, that's even better. I always think it's great to paint live. But if you can't, then at least move around a little bit, like how I move in a Google map. Now it is fast because I just click around and you can move around, but if you are there in person, move back a little bit, maybe zoom in a little bit, crop your photo a little bit. It's very easy to do that. So if you do that, maybe you can already start to compose your image right on your phone, right on your camera, like how I was doing in a Photoshop, which is very, very important. You don't just want to take a photo and leave. Okay, move around, change the angle. If you want to include a certain thing, everything is in 360. So if you can move around a certain building because you want that in your painting, then move around, see what's the best angle to approach this subject and find a good painting subject to it. And then just like how I did in the Photoshop, crop your image and move things around a little bit and find a good composition. Use rule of third grid and whatever tools you have in your hand. Okay, so hope that was helpful. Now I am going to do a painting. Hopefully you see the camera switching. Okay, so I spent like 15 minutes talking about it. Hopefully it's not too boring. But now I'm going to start do a drawing and do a value study. Okay. Alright, so now I am at my easel. Hopefully this is a nice transition because I am keeping my mic on, so I don't need to switch I don't need to switch microphone and stuff. I just got a new microphone. And I take that as my birthday gift. My birthday is 2 days ago, July 2nd. So it's actually really close to my wife's birthday if you see my last video. Okay, so the paper I'm going to paint on is Kilimanjaro. If you see my last video, that's one of the paper that I do recommend, especially if you're just practicing and doing value study. Okay, this is almost out. So I am going to do a painting, do a quick value study. So let me just check my focus here. Okay, good. All right, give me a moment. I am going to take a sip of water. Okay. Right, so let's start. Let's just start by drawing. Okay, now again, this is a value study, but at the same time, this is a time that I can play around and just figure out the composition and everything. Okay, let me adjust my camera just a little bit. Yep, you can go anywhere with Google Earth. It's an amazing app. And if you happen to have VR, you can actually see it in like a three-dimensional view, which is quite amazing. I think that technology when it gets more mature, we can kind of like travel everywhere with that. I think that will be quite fun. Okay, let me tweak a few things here. All right, let's get started. So looking at the photo that I photoshopped in, so now I want to crop this paper a little bit. I am going to do like a 1:2 ratio painting, so something like this. Again, this is just going to be like a quick study, value study and such. So I'm not even going to draw the perspective that carefully, but let's say the horizon line somewhere around here. Now the photo is really just a reference, so I am not going to make look exactly like the photo. That's not the point of why I do research and stuff, not because I can paint 1:1. Okay, so here will probably be the Capitol building, and the hotel would be somewhere around here. Again, very, very rough. Okay, keep your pencil, hold your pencil back and just try to stay loose on that, and just try to scribble out some big shape that you want. Okay, I'll probably need to shrink it down just a little bit. It's a little bit too big. I want to make it bigger than the photo, but not that big. Okay, so we got some trees here and stuff. I like this buildings on the left here. I have no idea what that building is. I actually never been to DC, and now is not the best time to visit there too. Okay, so thank you for the birthday wishes. I just throw it out. Thank you though. Okay, and we want some American flag, right? This is July 4th. Definitely snuck in some flag here and there. Okay, so here's, I might add some flag here as well. I'm not quite sure yet. Again, we'll solve that later. There's some trees. And most of these probably going to be merged into a single shape anyways. So, okay. So, and let's say the vanishing point is here, right at where the Capitol building is. So we'll get our curbside maybe here. me see. Actually, I might want to change that up a little bit. Yeah, let's have the curbs like going like these. So like it's kind of like I'm standing right next to the curb. So if that's the case, then the vanishing point is gonna be here. Then we will have to change things quite a bit. Okay, so I'm just drawing my pencil line out because I don't really care right now. Okay, so the building now, I'm going to roughly just block it out. Okay, so here is where we can see the perspective here. So I think this might be a little bit too tall here. Perspective started to look a little bit unnatural outside of cone of vision, a little bit way out. So I'll push it down here. And let's see here. Oh, whoops. I need to switch my camera here. Sorry, I got multiple cameras, so... Okay, so here we go. So the top of the tower, that clock tower thingy. Okay. So again, I'm going to make it into more like a 1-point perspective instead of 2-point, just to make things a little bit simpler. Okay. Okay, so we got some detail here. I'm drawing a little bit harder this time, just so that you can see a little bit better. There's a clock here, and roof out into outside of the frame, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, some trees. Okay, so just going down here like so, and then we will paint our, let me flip this around. Okay, and then let's get our Capitol building in. Okay, so I just want to include this, but this is not at the biggest element in the painting, and a lot of people kind of mistake that. Oh, because you want to paint a location, something has to be the biggest element there. It's not necessarily the case. Okay, you just want to establish a backdrop, right? This is just for you to see the backdrop, to kind of know that, oh, okay, this is what we are, where we are. Okay, if I change that into like, I don't know, Space Needle or something, all of a sudden you're in Seattle. So it's just a little bit of information to, you know, to let people know that, okay, I'm in DC. Okay, everything else is just kind of secondary. So trees here and stuff. Okay, now down to the street level. A lot of it is going to be like reflection and stuff as a good rainy street scenery here. Now I'm going to do a, so I'll probably snug in a figure here. Okay, holding an umbrella of some sort. Okay. I mean, maybe we can have somebody crossing the street or something. Might able to do that. I'm not quite sure yet, but let's just, you know, maybe draw somebody walking here. Okay, crossing the street, just kind of pacing. Okay, so maybe another umbrella here. Okay. And now we'll have a car right next to him. So he become a kind of like a measuring point, a scale reference for the car. So if the car is right next to him, it's probably about this tall, right? Because usually tall cars are not as high as a person, unless it's like a minivan or something. So around this area, I'll say. Okay, so here we got the windshield and the front bumper. Okay, so there we go. Got the wheel here. And I'm not sure about the color of the car and everything yet, but maybe this is a taxi. I think the taxi in DC are more like red and orange-ish. So, okay, so something like that. Okay, so we got a car, we got somebody, somebody walking. So we'll probably hint some more cars in the back. Again, this is a very quick study, so let's not think that much. So I want to snuck another couple cars here. So this can be kind of blocking here. But it's okay. Let's have a car here. The street is wider than we think. So okay. Okay, the side of the car. Only a little bit of side, okay? You don't want to have like a super long side, otherwise it looks like a limo. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the car here, and maybe we'll have another one here. Oops. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Okay, and maybe there's another car way back here. Okay. Car on the wrong side of the street. What do you mean? Well, this car is coming towards us. Those are driving away. I mean, at least that's what the photo shows, unless the photo is flipped. But even if it's so, then let's just pretend this is England. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay. Okay, so that's our painting. Okay, the painting cuts here. Okay, again, because this is like a 1x2 painting, so something like that. I'll just clean up my line work just a little bit because it's really messy. Okay, so yeah, that kind of looks like the back, but I wasn't really focusing too much on getting things look accurate per se. Okay, so this okay, I think we got a pretty decent composition here. Now let's start to do our value study. Value study has become a huge part of my work, and it's probably one of my favorite part as well, because it's just very relaxing to do. And then you just kind of get the brush moving, and you only have one color to worry about. And I use cobalt black from Mission Gold. People been asking what color I use for value study. Cobalt black from Mission Gold. Sorry, I need to get it focused. Okay, cobalt black. Okay, so I use this because I just happened to get it. But you can use any color as long as it's gonna go dark enough. Andy Evenson, he used Payne's gray. Some people I used to use neutral tint. So any color should do as long as you can get it dark enough. I just got it from Mission because I was doing a review on Mission Ghost Paint, and I just happened to try this and I like it quite a bit. It's a little bit granular, so that makes the black a little bit fun. Okay, so let's look at it as a whole. Let's find a big shape first. Okay, so I look at the photo and I look at my drawing, and I need to start thinking about what is going to be the major shape. Okay, now I'm going to cheat a little bit. If you watch one of my previous video on how to steal as an artist, I'm gonna steal from Joseph. Okay, so look at this painting. Look at the photo. How similar that is. Okay, it wasn't intentional. I found this photo first and I composed it the way I want to. Then I start to flip through this book. Ah, perfect, right here. Okay, so pretend this is the tower there, the building there, and pretend, see, there's actually a dome back here. So kind of similar to what we have there as well. So let's look at how he composed the painting. Okay, so the big shape right here, and then there's another shape, and then there's a car that mostly kind of connect to that shape. So if you kind of squint your eyes, you see this big shape, and the cars mostly kind of connect to each other as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to use this as a reference. It's not going to be exactly like that. I want to have a little bit more color in my painting. This is almost completely gray. So, but in terms of getting a big shape, this is a nice way for me to kind of get some idea from. So okay. Yep, so that's something I taught my student as well. Like, don't fly blind, get inspiration from what other artists has done, and maybe you can find something that works for you, for your specifically your subject as well. Okay, so now you guys can all say that I steal from other artists, and that's fine. Okay, so like the tower here, again, this is a value study, so I am not going to spend too much time. I mainly just want to get the big shape down and get to figure out the overall shape I want to do and the value. A little bit longer here. Okay, and you notice that I make the top of the tower a little bit more pointier. Just a personal choice. I want to make it look a little bit more grand. Okay. Okay, so reload your brush. Okay, if you feel like your brush is running out, reload it. Don't keep painting it until it runs out, because it'll be hard to connect that shape later. Okay, so just a big shape. Okay, now I'm going to leave some part of the painting white. Okay, so like the top of the car, for example, I will leave them a little bit lighter. This is a Skoda Versatile. It's a synthetic Kolinsky brush. I like it quite a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna connect that into the car here. Okay, connect that to the windshield and connect that to the bottom here. Okay. I'll leave a little bit of the hints of highlight there or something. Okay, so I will leave this windshield a little bit lighter, but the bottom of it, I still want to connect that shape in. Okay. Now, I'll leave this here, but I want to continue this shape into our US capital, sorry. I keep saying state capital because the Washington state capital, like, you know, Washington state where I'm at, the state capitol building looks very similar. It's also the dome. So, sorry I made that mistake. Okay, so don't worry about detail and stuff. This is not about that, okay? And I will leave out some highlight on top of the umbrella again. Oops. Reload my brush and this left building here on the side here that connects to some of the plan here. Okay, let your brush do some work. Okay, don't dab your way, especially for this. It's such a quick value study. Don't dab your way through the foliages and stuff. Okay, and our American flag here, we want to give it a little bit of value. Okay, we don't want to just leave it white, even though it is white in color. Sorry, you guys didn't see that. Okay, very loose, give it a little bit of value here. Okay, and now I will just connect that shape in here to this guy. Maybe he's wearing a suit, whatever. I don't really know just yet, but connect him. Okay, and okay, so the car here. Okay, the windshield, the front bumper, the wheel, and so on. Okay, rest of it, just pin it down here like so. Okay, now I'm going to ping this guy. Let me move down the camera here. I'll just ping this guy in, the guy that's kind of pacing here. Okay, so under the umbrella we can connect that shape to everything else. There's another car in the back, couple suggestive details. Okay, here we go. Now time to kind of complete the shape here. So we gotta paint the reflection, right? Now the headlight we can paint back in later if we want to, but you know, overall big shape has to be there. Like, even if we don't paint the headlight reflection, that's not going to affect the overall big shape, right? So, and then we'll paint the reflection of this guy here. So the one on the back here, we might not need that much reflection. We do want a little bit of visual break. We don't want like dark reflection everywhere. So some part of the reflection we can don't make it as dark, and we can skip it around a little bit. Now I do need a little bit more water in my mixture so it kind of flows a little bit better. Okay. Okay, so skip a little bit here and there. I actually think this is good. Okay. Now we do want this light side to have a light reflection down here, so we don't want to paint everything in. Okay, I'm just gonna add some water and loosen some of these to make it a little bit softer. Okay. Here, that's our big shape. Okay, so that's our big shape, and that's our first middle value, which is, you know, something you start off with when you are doing a value study. You start with the middle value. Let me actually tweak something. Okay, so it's kind of as easy as that, right? Just, you know, try to find a big shape and connect as much as you can. Now I do skip around things here and there, leave out some light shape, okay? But still, this is a very quick and dirty value study. Let me take a photo real quick so I can just reference for myself, because I do want to paint a second layer to show you guys. Because this is a middle value, we still need to paint a dark value there. So I think this is dry enough for us to continue working on it. Let me... Okay, so darker value. Still just using cobalt black. Okay, that's why I like value study so much. This is relaxing. You just need to worry about one single color. Okay, so okay, I'm pushing it too hard. This brush is a little bit too big for that. I will use a smaller size brush here. Okay. Alright, so starting from the building, so those, you know, dark detail here. Now, if I would paint this in the color version, I might do these wet on wet and just slowly build it down. But here, I just want a quick picture. Let's see how it works out. Okay, so this side is slightly darker than the other, but they are both quite dark. Okay, so the clock tower, I don't know, give it a little bit of time or something, I suppose. Okay, the roof here. Okay, here's another. Oops. Another roof here. There's a lot of detail in this building, but really you just, you know, get the big shape in and the overall atmosphere, and you should be good to go. Now, okay, now I want to switch back to my bigger brush because I'm going to paint some trees. Speaking of trees, the video on mixing different greens is in progress, so expect to see that next week, the upcoming week. Okay, so here we got trees. Okay, now let me actually make it a little bit darker down here. Some wet on wet is fine, like this paper can hold it. Okay, so trees and stuff, and then you see the branches coming down like that. Okay, and that kind of connects to the entrance, or whatever, those arches that goes into the building. Okay, but value study just kind of force you to look at things as shapes. instead of trying to desperately separate everything and identify individual elements, it kind of encourages you to connect them together, which is the point of value study, right? Guessing is connected. Okay, so we got tree, we got the top of the building. Just a little bit more wet on wet here. I want this tree on the bottom especially to be darker. Okay, and okay, so this connect to some other trees as well, all the way into the the background. Okay. Now we can loosen that edge a little bit so it kind of fades back in. Okay. Sorry, I'm not able to look at the chat right now, so I don't know what are you guys talking about. Looks like you guys are discussing about brushes. Okay, so I'm going to darken this back windshield a little bit, and I'm going to connect that to some abstract shape right here, just to get things connected a little bit more. I mean, I can snuck into another car, but just too complicated if I want to add another car. Okay, so yeah, let me change to my Perla so it will be a little bit easier. Okay, so whoops. Okay, a little bit darker here. Okay, so the bottom of the bumper, let's get that value down in a little bit more. Okay, let's just add a little bit more value here. Okay, some more here as well. And now let's bring this down so we darken the reflection here. So we'll darken this reflection a little bit. Now again, if I'm painting the full painting, I might do a little bit more wet on wet just to get this reflection a little bit softer. But this doesn't affect the overall big shape. Okay, a little bit dark in here as well. Okay, so now let's darken this guy as well. So, you know, give it a hair maybe, and this. I'll probably need to find a better reference if I'm, you know, really want to paint somebody that's walking. But you know, this will do for now. Okay, so maybe a little bit dark here, but not to cover everything up. Okay, the car back here, we can give it a little bit hints of dark, but let's keep most of it in a background a little bit more to the lighter side. Okay, again, we can, you know, just slightly add a few details here and there, but really don't don't fuss with it too much. Okay, now continue to this side. This is going to be a lot darker as well because they are actually closer to us. Mix complementary color. I don't really have much problem mixing complementary colors. Depends on what you want to get though, but I don't know. I never really thought color that crazy. Like I don't really think about color that much, to be honest with you. I just look at it as warm and cool, and if it works, it works. And since most of the colors on my palettes are mostly kind of earth tone-ish, it usually doesn't really go off too much. Anyways. Yeah, maybe after this value study, I can stay and maybe answer some of the questions if you guys have any before, if we still got some time. So we got some more trees here. Okay, so this guy, let's give him a little bit more detail here. Maybe another person on the back, whatever. Okay, so let's add a little bit more detail to this guy. Okay, so give it a front grille so that looks like the front of the car here. Okay, I think I need to darken this windshield too. I was debating if I should do that, but I think I should, just so that this car will pop out a little bit more. Okay. Alright, now I think we'll just give it a little bit of wet on wet here. And just continue that reflection. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. You know, when it comes to the overall shape of the painting. So we got our main shape here, a big shape that kind of connects everything. This shape, and then we got our negative shape on the sky and a little bit of a light reflection here. I might do a little bit of glazing on this building just to make it push up a little bit. Okay. Now I can just have a little bit of fun, get some cloud in. I do plan to get some cloud in. I think those clouds are quite nice. Just to add a little bit more visual interest in this, in the sky, so it's not so empty. Joseph do a lot of birds, but I don't want to do the same thing. So some clouds will do. Just some wet onto wet. Try to keep them light. Okay, you don't want your cloud to be super dark and stuff. Here. this is the blue sky. Okay, just some visual thingy in the sky, but mostly it's going to be a very simple shape painting. Okay, I think this is pretty much it. Let me snuck in a little bit of detail here. I actually think if we get the, let the flag come out, that actually might look better. So it's not like a straight shape. We got a little bit of a visual interest here. So maybe a couple of flags here. And a little bit details on that flag, and actually don't see much lampposts or even signal at all, which is quite amazing. Okay. Alright, I think that's enough fuzzing around. Paper is quite wet anyway, so I'm not able to paint on that too much. Okay, let me head back to my seat and okay, so yeah, I hope this is helpful for you guys. Again, I'm not going to do the full painting right now because probably gonna take some time, but again, I went through with you how to find a subject and then use the Photoshop to kind of tweak the photo a little bit to make it turn it into something that I think that can work in the painting, and then do a quick value study of it. So very rough, but later on when I'm painting a actual color painting, I have something to refer back to, because as much as the photo itself is going to give me a lot of information on detail, it's not going to give me the big shape that I actually want to work on. So the value study is the place that I get to kind of experience a little bit and looking at the big shape to see what will work and so on. So hopefully that is helpful for you. I'm just going to grab some white gouache and paint that headlight reflection in, just to, I don't know, for my sanity, I guess. Okay, same thing here, just to add a little bit of interest here. A little bit more here. Paper is still kind of wet, so it starts to melt in. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? And then if not, I will log off. Hope you guys have a nice July 4th holiday. If you are in the US, it's a very tough time for all of us here. So yeah, again, hope you guys have having a good day, and stay safe, stay healthy. Post the finished painting when it's done. Yeah, it's actually I'm actually planning to record the whole section for the finished painting so that I can share that with you guys later on the YouTube. So I will definitely do that. Yeah. Okay, so again, my friend hired me to do a commission, but again, like after I get the money from her, I'm gonna donate that to the relief fund. So something kind of meaningful here. Okay, anyways, hope you guys have a good day. I will be logging off now. I will see